He understood this against all doctrines that was taught before Christ. They was waiting for Elijah. They was waiting for David. They was waiting for everyone to come. But no one perceived that he was the Messiah. So Peter understood the Holy Spirit. Now there's something else I want to show you here in a second. But staying on this topic for 1 second, I want you to understand how even the Catholic Church understood that Peter would be. Somebody get that book about the popes out of there for me, if you don't mind. They understood that Christ's doctrine and understanding would only come, or primarily come, through Peter. So the Catholic Church had to circumvent Peter to make everyone believe that that church that was being built was the Roman Catholic Church. And this book, which was a gift, and I thank the Most High for this gift, is called A Dark History, the Pope, Vice, Murder, Corruption in the Vatican. And on the front of this is Rodrigo Borgia, Cesare Borgia's father, the image of the Christ that everyone in Europe is worshiping. Okay? And in this book, it goes through all the popes and the wickedness they brought to the earth, talking about they're doing this on Peter's seat. We're going to go into this a little later, at a later date, to show you how wicked and evil the popes are. In order to infiltrate the churches, they took all the pagan gods and switched them and gave them biblical names. They took the statue of Zeus and put it in the main church and called it Jesus or Jesus. They took another statue of Zeus, the black statue of Zeus, and said that that was Peter. So when they go into the Vatican, there's a ritual in which, if you are a real Catholic, you would go and kiss Peter's feet. But that ritual first started in paganism with the Roman Catholic Church, and that statue was an actual statue in the pagan church of Zeus himself. And these popes started reigning in the stead of the disciples after they circumvented the churches in the 4th century. That gave us our new Christianity. And instead of building the understandings on Christ's writings and Peter's writings, the church focused on Paul's writings, knowing that Paul's writings are hard to be understood by the unlearned. When Christ's church was built on Peter, okay, I didn't want to veer too far off of the path on this, all right, because I want to go into this lesson and the significance of this lesson. But that also brings us to that statue that was destroyed by fire. The church wasn't touched. The area around it wasn't touched. Lightning came and struck an image of Zeus in Babylon, and it was on fire as a spectacle so everyone could see it. That's who it is. It wasn't Jesus giving hope like this. It was a picture of Zeus to let you know that there's a visitation on the idols of this world, and their idols will fall. When Christ walked in to be judged before Pilate, it tells you in certain records that all the idols in the temple fell and broke in half. They broke in half and bowed to the real Lord, Christ. And now, since this whole system is broke and this society is broke, now their idols are being destroyed and their worships are being destroyed because Christ's name is being exalted throughout the four corners of the earth. A lot of you don't even know how important the gospel is being spread outside of our confines. Excuse me. But let's get back into it. What verse you left off in Matthew 16?
Verse 19. St. Matthew chapter 16, verse 19. And I will give unto thee the keys of the kingdom of heaven.
Go ahead.
And whatsoever thou shalt bind on earth shall be bound in heaven. And whatsoever thou shalt loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven.
So what he was showing, that if you're following the understanding of the true gospel of Christ that was established in Peter, whatever is bound in earth is bound in heaven. So if you have teachers that are in this vein of teaching on the earth, whatever they bound and ask the Most High to give them in this earth, it will be listened to in heaven and executed on this earth. And whatever is asked to loose in this earth, and we ask the Most High to loose in this earth, it will be loosed or bound, if you're under the same vein in teachings that was before the Roman Catholic Church. And we're putting this out that we didn't go against the doctrine of the Christian church because we didn't like the people in the Christian church. We went against the Christian church in this doctrine because it's a highly satanic doctrine that have good people trapped. And they don't have the freedom to execute this power that the Most High gave his people and gave Christ. It was circumvented by the Romans, the Europeans in the 4th century. The Christianity we have today is evil. It's the highest and most satanic religion on earth. Yes, it's the height of satanic wickedness and sorcery. And some people may say, well, Islam. Well, Islam, yes, it has its place too. But you would never guess who funded Muhammad. Yes, the European Catholic Church funded Muhammad. So there will be no Islam without the original Christianity that's set up in the earth. And they circumvented Peter's work. They circumvented Christ's work. Christ says, many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. That many is all those that are under the institutions of the Christian churches throughout the earth. It's pagan, it's wicked, it's evil, it's satanic, and it's speeding up the downfall of this wicked world. It have demoralized the whole earth spiritually because there's no truth there. Christ was about truth, not finding scriptures to cover truth or to hide truth. Finish reading.
St. Matthew, chapter 19, verse 20. Then charged he his disciples that they should tell no man that he was Yeshua the Christ.
Then he charged his disciples, saying, don't go around telling people who I am. Read.
Verse 21. From that time forth began Yeshua to show unto his disciples how that he must go unto Jerusalem and suffer many things of the elders and chief priests and scribes, and be killed, and be raised again the 3rd day.
And after that, he started preparing the disciples for what was coming. He was around them. He was filling them with the doctrine, giving them understanding. And he was telling them, listen, y'all really have to get this. Y'all have to get this doctrine because y'all going to have to carry this. Okay? People are planning to soon kill me, and I'll be raised the 3rd day. That's what Christ told the disciples. He was preparing them for what's to come. But he had to go so the Holy Spirit could come. He had to leave. And that death empowered the disciples to finish the work. The work we have continued. Not in some institution with 4 walls, but going out through the highways and byways like Christ and delivering the Holy Spirit on whoever the Holy Spirit would fall on, knowing that the church and the temple are the people. So we taught in that same vein. Read.
Verse 22. Then Peter took him and began to rebuke him, saying, Be it far from thee, Lord, this shall not be unto thee.
Peter was trying to stop Christ from fulfilling prophecy. He tried to rebuke Christ and say, Lord, no, we don't want you to die. Don't go there. If you know they're going to kill you in Jerusalem, why are you going? What did Yeshua say?
Verse 23. But he turned and said unto Peter, Get thee behind me, Satan.
Now, hold up. The same man he just gave the keys to the kingdom of heaven to was being used by Satan in the presence of Yeshua. I want you to examine that to let you know wherever Christ is, Satan is not too far behind watching the whole move. So Satan understood that if Christ was to go, he would eventually get full power. So he was trying to slow up the prophecies by jumping in Peter and saying, no, don't go, don't go. And that shows you that when you're talking to people, sometimes you're not speaking to people. People can be used as a host when they get emotional. His love for Christ allowed him to be a vessel to be used for a second. That's what emotions do. And Christ immediately recognized and was able to separate Peter from the spirit that jumped in him. So he wasn't even speaking to Peter. He was like, he looked at him and said, listen, get behind me, Satan. And once Satan flee, he had Peter back. We're not wrestling with flesh and blood. And I'm putting this out there just on a low level when it comes to dealing with how we must get through these last times. If we do anything based strictly on emotion, you're going to be used by one of these spirits that have been released from the depths of hell. This is our barometer right here. This is it. Nothing based on our emotions, because this is flesh. This is what Satan used to control our members. This is our flesh. The one thing he can't use is what the Most High put in us. But we can't control that if we allow our flesh to overcome our spirit. That's becoming or staying temperate. I just wanted to put those keys in there. Usually we make the decisions that's going to dictate the rest of our life on a moment, on something that we're dealing with emotional. We make a move that's going to affect the rest of our life. So I wanted to give that example how the same man that Christ set up was still able to be used because of his love. Satan can use that too. He can use your love. He can use your hate. He can use your fear. Any type of emotion that's not temperate, Satan can come in. Finish reading.
St. Matthew chapter 16 verse 23. But he turned and said unto Peter, Get thee behind me, Satan. Thou art an offense unto me.
He says, Get behind me, Satan. You are offending me. Read.
For thou savorest not the things that be of the Most High.
Read that again.
For thou savorest not the things that be of the Most High, but those that be of men.
You're focused on the man. You're focusing on the flesh. That's what he was showing Peter. Get thee behind me, Satan. Thou art an offense unto me. For thou savorest. Savorest is actually seizing an opportunity. You're savorest not the things that be of the Most High, but those that be of men. He had to come and be a sacrifice. That was Christ's existence. That's the reason he was put here. Not to please what a man would think, including Peter or anyone else. Oh, I love you, brother. He was put here to do the will of the Most High. And anyone that have been placed here to serve the Most High and to exalt the voice and to bring forth any understanding have to understand that they're not more worthy than their master. If Christ suffered these things, you ought to suffer these things also. Which means when you sign up to this, when you sign up to this work, understand that your life is no more. Understand that your life is used to wake up the elect and to bring forth the kingdom of heaven until death.